Between the years of 1965 and 1969, one of the most amazing pieces of literature that has ever been written was being worked on. And it was not until the year 1970 when that was officially published. I am Dr. Mario, and I want to give you the warmest welcome to this Health, Spice, and Life show, El Cafecito Corner, another new edition with an amazing subject that I'm sure you're going to love. But as you know, no matter where you're from, I would love to hear where you're at, whether you're tuning in from the other side of the world, you're here in the United States, or maybe you're in the Caribbean, maybe Venezuela, maybe Argentina, wherever it may be. Just let me know where you are. Just send me a wave. Just come in here into the platform, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, or on YouTube, and let me know where you're listening from. Now, if for whatever reason you're actually listening to this after we've done the live program, that's okay. You can always go in and still post any comments that you may have, and I'm going to be listening to it as well. I like to see what's happening in the community, how you're reacting to everything that we're talking about, and more important than that, if you're giving your time, which is such an honor for me to be here sharing this space with you, I want to know how this is impacting your life, how this is creating tremendous inspiration for you, and ultimately creating transformation in your life. That's really what this is about, and ultimately also just all coming together as that billion people that have the Latino background, Latino heritage, or we simply have that affinity for everything that is Latino. So wherever you may be, whoever you may be with, whatever you may be listening to right now, just take a minute, listen to this, let me know where you are, send me your name, give us a thumbs up, follow us here on Facebook if you're on Facebook, or subscribe to the channel on YouTube. As you might have heard before, or if this is new to you, since this may be the first time that you're listening to any of the episodes of El Cafecito Corner, we will start going on national TV here in the United States, where 190 million people will be listening to the show, which is incredible. And that's going to be starting now in the first week of June. So we're just a few days away from starting that, which is super exciting. Now, as you know, this is El Cafecito Corner. So I am going to take my coffee, and I was doing the Spanish version of the show. As you know, sometimes we do it in Spanish, and then after that we do it in English. So whatever language is easier for you to consume the show and be here with us, it makes it a lot easier. So I am actually drinking a little bit of coffee from Costa Rica. So all the friends from Costa Rica that may be listening to the show in this moment, I want to say the warmest hello, hola a todos ustedes. And we're going to try a little bit of this coffee. I had it earlier, and it was just amazing. So we'll see if, in fact, it still continues to taste the same way. Good news. It's still tasting the same way, and it has a dark chocolate flavor with some hints of vanilla and a little bit of like tobacco flavors. So if you like that kind of coffee, this one, particularly from Costa Rica, is simply amazing. Never forget to drink your water. We've talked about that before. And also, if you're drinking coffee, it's a great way, especially if it's sparkling water, to cleanse your palate so that you can continue to taste and enjoy that. So it's a great way to do it. So the title of the show today, who's got the bluest Latin eyes? What is that all about? And what does have anything to do with literary works that were written back in the 1960s? You see, the title of the work that was done, the book, was this one, The Bluest Eyes, Los Ojos Más Azules. And the author of the book was the Afro-American and incredibly talented Toni Morrison. Toni Morrison, if you don't know her works, completely worth checking it out. This is a picture of her. Toni Morrison was born in 1931 in Ohio, and she died in the year 2019. Toni Morrison's work has been so impactful globally that she's considered to be one of the most celebrated authors of all time, and the first Afro-American and a woman to have ever been the recipient of the Nobel Prize of Literature. And this was awarded to her in Sweden, in Stockholm, Sweden, in 1993. But not only that, in the year 2012, under the American administration of President Barack Obama, she also received the highest honor awarded to any civilian citizen, which is the Presidential Medal of Freedom. So clearly, the works of Toni Morrison and her life work have created a significant impact. But the question is, why is this relevant now in the year 2020? As it actually wasn't that much in 1970. In fact, if you look into Toni Morrison's life story and what happened with that particular book, when it got published in 1970, it wasn't that well received. It was not that liked, and it merits exploring, well, why is that the case? Why such a masterpiece was not welcome to that extent? And the answer lies in the subject. As a matter of fact, The Bluest Eyes has to do with this character who is an African-American girl living in a community where there were other races, particularly white people in that town. And the aspirations of this girl and the journey that she has during her lifetime, as depicted in the book, have to do with her aspirations of beauty. How her life is basically a journey towards trying to be a white girl and also trying to have the bluest eyes. And if we look collectively at the toys of the time, the dolls that were sold, there were all this kind of porcelain-looking dolls with the blue eyes, the beautiful blonde hair. And this little black girl, her journey is about aspiring to be beautiful and going through the journey of being accepted socially because she wanted to be one of those girls. Suffice to say that the journey doesn't end very well. She goes into dementia, and the things that happen during the course of the book are terrible things, from rape in the book to people being killed, truly horrific things, but depicting a reality of what was happening in that era. In Health, Spice, and Life, in this show, which is a show about lifestyle, and a show geared towards all of us who are Latinos, that billion people who are Latinos or Hispanic or simply have this liking for our culture, it is so relevant in the 21st century, in this year, 2020, to be talking about these things. Why? Because if we open the TV, you turn on the TV, we go into our phones, we go into YouTube channels here on Facebook, we are bombarded every single day with the images of what beauty should be like. And in the Latino world, where we have incredible beauty, we have amazing women, so much so that they have been recognized numerous times in the most important beauty pageants in the world, we see a lot of this. And furthermore, it's not just simply looking into female beauty, but also males seek the same thing too. Well, how is this relevant to all of us? And this is really the meat of this particular segment today, this edition of the show, to talk about beauty. How many of us are in that constant seeking of beauty without realizing the beautiful human beings that we are? And more importantly, as we're going through that journey of looking for that outer beauty, as it has been portrayed by somebody else and sold to us as what beauty should be, what that creates in daily lives for us, what that does for us, how do we feel? And ultimately, what does that do to my health, your health? And that is really at the crux, at the intersection of this journey. And like I said, I can't think of anything more relevant today when it comes to the effects of beauty in aspiration, when it comes to the physical appearance, the external appearance that you or I may have, versus how that's impacting ourselves. You see, one of the things that happens is that when we are in that search for something that is outside of us, for trying to look like somebody else, our cells, every single molecule in our bodies is feeling it. And it's almost like you're completely rejecting, you and I rejecting who this person is, completely neglecting what is that is in front of us. In fact, when was the last time that you look at yourself in the mirror and you said, wow, I'm an amazing human being. And I am beautiful exactly as I am, because there's nobody else in the whole world, and there's 8 billion of us here in this planet as we speak, who is just like me. I can't tell you how many times in my career as a physician, I have seen so many people walk in with all sorts of different conditions and symptoms, and a lot of them stem out of the fact that there's no self-acceptance, there's no self-love, there's no embracing, kind of giving yourself a hug for this amazing person that you are. When that happens, our immune systems are depressed, our overall experience of our lives and our health gets completely depleted and changed. And that can be the beginning for many to start experiencing health in a different way that is not positive. How many times we start when we're children that we have to look in a certain way, we have to aspire to be like X and Y person, and that gets ingrained of us from the very beginning. So this is something that gets us to be ingrained, to be simply just put in there like in a computer. It's a program that is running every single moment of our lives and how we feel, how we think, and all of those things. And ultimately, it has an impact in our overall experience of health. Wherever you may be right now listening to this, Mara is saying hola, and we say hola back to her. If you're here in Facebook, just give it a thumbs up or send some hearts. Let us know how this is affecting you, or how has it affected your life. Are you one of these people that you have felt that it's always outside of you, as opposed to like simply taking a minute to say, wow, I am truly a magnificent human being? You see, here in the United States, where we have so many Latinos, that we have come from elsewhere, and we are such an essential part of this community, of this great nation, we have definitely been touched by this notion of we have to look a certain way so that we can fit in. We have to have the hair in a certain way, or I wish my eyes were different, like in the case of this book, The Bluest Eyes. I wish my eyes were blue. I wish I was blonde, as opposed to embracing, you know what, the person who I am, my cultural identity, who I am, where I come from, is truly my greatest wealth and my greatest richness. And that is missing so much. We see it all the time. And we have to start valuing who we are, so we can start valuing and giving credit to the contributions that we bring to every single facet of our lives as we go through it, wherever you may be. If you're not here in the United States, it doesn't matter, because this kind of pressure also happens in other groups, even within our countries of origin. So what a great opportunity to use this masterpiece to elevate our state of being, elevate our state of health, and bring that to this conversation of how am I feeling with who I have been and who am I being currently. Toni Morrison's work became universal because it recognized through her work that even though the character of the novel was a little black girl, the essence of wanting to be somebody else for the sake of acceptance wherever you may be in your life is a topic that is relevant to every single country on the face of our planet. So it's a hugely impactful moment. Now that we're in coronavirus times, and you know that I've been talking about this, if you're new to the program, I invite you to see some of the other episodes. And I've been talking about reinventing you, taking this opportunity to change how we think and to change, more importantly, how we feel, because those feelings are what ultimately generate the physical manifestation of who we're being outside of our bodies. And importantly, they impact the experience of health, how our bodies are reacting to the overall external stimuli that we're receiving on a daily basis. I want to share a very personal story of something about the bluest eyes, how in my life, in Dr. Mario's life, I had a moment where it was almost like tempting to want to be somebody else. And yet the decision that I made in that particular moment was to simply embrace the brown eyes that I have, and simply give myself a hug and embrace my Latino heritage culture, being Puerto Rican. Some years back, I was being interviewed at Yale University. I was in the process of going through different programs to see where I would go and train to become a radiologist. As many of you know, I'm an interventional radiologist who trained at Harvard, Yale, and Columbia Universities here in the United States after completing my studies in medicine at the University of Puerto Rico. And so I'm in that particular interview with one of the world famous cardiologists at the institution at Yale. And he's going through my papers in front of me, and then he asked me the following question. Well, and he said it this way: who do you think you are to be just here, utilizing my time? And, you're Puerto Rican, you're a minority. What do you think of that? And as you can imagine, I took a deep breath, and I never in a million years expected that at an institution of that level, I would ever be asked a question of that nature, especially because it's a diverse, and as I understood it, it was a multicultural environment. So I looked at him and I said, you're absolutely right. As a matter of fact, If you're referring to the aspect that I am a minority from the quantitative standpoint, well, you're absolutely right. Meaning that, yeah, you know, how many Puerto Ricans had gone through the institution at that point when I was going through there? Not really that many at all. And I then said, and also, you're right about the other aspect. If you're referring to the side of me in terms of the qualitative aspect, then you're right. I'm also a minority because I am spectacular. When I said that to him, his eyes just became that big and almost like his face completely dropped to the floor. And he was so quick to change the topic and move on to something right away. You see, I attribute the fact that I was able to answer that question in the way I did, not from a place of arrogance, but from a place of knowing, because of the deep and unconditional love that I received from my parents growing up, to whom I'm so indebted and I'll be for the rest of my life, of teaching me the value of embracing, no matter what you look like, how dark your skin is, whatever is that you look like to the world, that you still have you at the end of the day. And that has affected completely my journey as a quote unquote minority here in the United States. My entire life, I've been here in the States for 28 years. And that has been something that has guided me in every single moment that I have felt challenged when the conversation of comparisons has come up for me. So today, I'm going to call you out so you can have a moment for yourself of inspiration. And you know that I love to use this little green cards all the time and write things down and question myself and put it down, because when the moment that we write things down, by the way, you're going from something that is up in the ether, right? It's not really physical. And now I'm taking the pen and I am writing it down. Now it's becoming something material. So in terms of your experience, your physiological experience, you're making connections that weren't there before. Super powerful. If you haven't tried it, completely invite you to do so. And in that little card, I'm going to ask you to write about those things that you consider unique, beautiful, incredible about who you are. Write them down. Write as many as you can. You may even discover things that you never even wanted to say about yourself, that perhaps you've been kind of like a little bashful, you know, maybe like, oh, I don't know, embarrassed to say it, but you think they're awesome. Write them down. Write as many as you can. And start really looking at that, embracing the true you. Because guess what? That connection with the beauty of who you are, the Latino or Latina that you are, it spreads and people can feel it. It is an important time more than ever, now that the show is going to be on American TV, to continue to create those bonds in our community, to reach out to other people. You know why? Because at the end of the day, this is a secret. People love Latino culture when they're from the outside. They look at us, they love our passion, they love our love, they look the way that we dance, the way that we look, actually, believe it or not. The way we speak, our accent. So many people tell me all the time, oh my God, you know, you speak in this way. It's like, where are you from? You have an accent. Oh, I love your accent. Well, guess what? Don't be ashamed of your accent. Embrace it, because it's super awesome that that's something that is unique to you and it separates you from the rest, as opposed to just wanting to be like everybody else just for the sake of blending in to be accepted. Acceptance is going to come from exactly how you feel right now. And guess what? Your cells are listening. Every single aspect of your body. And those around you are not just listening. They are feeling it, which is even more powerful to you. So lastly, I want you to share this experience, this little Cafecito corner that we've been having today, with everybody in your life. I like to say 3 people. You know what? If you have more than 3, share it with more than 3 people. And also, if you're watching from Facebook and you're not following the show, go ahead and click on that so that you can actually see every single time that new show comes up. You can actually see it. Also, go and subscribe to YouTube, because we're going to be posting things over there that may not necessarily be here on Facebook, and you'll be able to actually follow us as well. I would like to remind you that we will be starting the show now in the first week of June, and I will be posting all the information as to where you'll be able to go. Take a look at the link so that you can follow the show wherever we may be. And it is so important to take this opportunity, which is unique, historical for us Latinos, to have representation on American TV, to start spreading the word, spreading the love, letting others know, hey, at last we have a show that is for us. And it can be in English or it can be in Spanish. No matter what the language is that you prefer, you can consume it. And it is about Latinos. It's about our health. It's about what makes us spicy. And it's about our life. And it's about time that we've had that. And guess what? That is because we get the opportunity to embrace every single moment who we are and put out to the world that essence of what makes us be Latinos. Hoping and deeply wishing from my heart that this has been a transformative segment for you, that it has made you think a little bit different, not only through my words, but also through the words of somebody who really changed the lives of so many and had to be recognized with a Nobel Prize in literature because of her contribution to humanity, Toni Morrison. I certainly wish and hope that this person's life, Toni's life, has been as inspiring and game-changing for you during this segment today as it has been for me in preparation to have this conversation with you. So lastly, from my heart to your heart, I am Dr. Mario, who says, a tu salud. I'll see you soon. Take care, and we'll stay in touch. Ciao.